Hey everybody, I'm Becky Adams. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel today. Today I have a Simple Stories design team project to share with you using the Simple Vintage Country Harvest collection. And today I wanted to make a special point to use the chipboard frames. I've gotten them with a couple of collections and I haven't used them as much as I would like. So I made a special point to use that with a couple of the Simple Vintage Country Harvest collections. So I have already gotten started on this project and I've chosen this background paper that's kind of a teal wood grain. And then I have a couple of strips printed or cut down for the top and the bottom of the page. And you'll see I used my edge distressing tool. I believe that one is by Tim Holtz. And I'm just distressing the edges of these papers before I attach them to the background. So I cut the orange one just slightly larger than the plaid one, and that's just so I have just a little bit of orange peeking out behind the plaid pattern paper. So I just put some double-sided tape along the pattern papers and adhere them together. So with on the plaid pattern paper, you'll also notice, it's kind of hard to see here in the video, but you'll see it again in the close-ups, that I stitched along the top edge just with my sewing machine and white thread. So you can see it a little bit better maybe there while I'm distressing it, but anyway, I just like that addition of this sewing, of the stitching. So we'll just get this last little bit adhered. That double-sided tape is from scrapbook.com. It's just the 1/4 inch double-sided tape, and I really like it. I use that quite often. And I believe when I filmed this one, I was out of my adhesive runner, so that's why I'm using so much double-sided tape. But so on this that bigger rectangle frame, I wanted to point out that when I put that photo behind there, the background of the photo matched the chipboard frame. So the photo didn't really stand out at all when I put that one behind it. So what I did is I trimmed my photo down just a little bit more and put a white border. So it's kind of like a photo, like a frame that you would put on your wall. And I just added a white mat. And I just did that so that the photo would stand out a little bit more against the frame and against the background. So I have just washi taped the photo to the back, and then I'm adding that extra layer of adhesive with the double-sided tape. So I'm just using my T-square here to make sure that I get that frame adhered straight, because I don't want it to look all wonky. And then I kind of base the rest of my design on that frame being straight. So I want to make sure that I get that straight, because I do put my title right up against it, and if I adhered that frame crooked, then it would kind of throw everything else off. So here with this round frame, I just adhered I adhered the photo, and then I realized that it was a little bit crooked and I was cutting off more of my nephew's face than I wanted to. The photo naturally cropped there, but anyway, so I'm just going back and adding that adhesive again so that I can adhere that to the page. So on the right side of that frame, I can just adhere it right to the other frame. I'm adding some foam dots, and these are by Scrapbook adhesives by 3L. They have really great foam dots if you wanted to look into those. And I'm adding those on the left side of the frame so that there's not a gap, and anyway, make sure the photo is adhered because I'm layering 2 pieces of chipboard on top of that. So the title for this layout is just simply Harvest. It's about when I took my nephew and nieces to the pumpkin patch. And so the word harvest are chipboard pieces that just comes in the 6x12 chipboard set of the Country Harvest collection. So as with most chipboard, actually all chipboard, I use my own adhesive. So you'll see me go back here in just a minute and adhere that title with some liquid adhesive. But before I do that, I wanted to add a couple of embellishments, and I'm doing so. I just tucked that die cut there kind of above the round frame, and then I'm balancing that out with a die cut over on the right side of the frame. And I'm just realizing that I have the whole frame, like my photos, adhered too far to the right. And so I'm just moving everything, kind of adjusting, because what I'm going for is equal margin between, like, the edge of the leaf embellishments are like about an inch, about an inch on either side. So I don't get it exactly perfect, but it's pretty close, and it definitely needed to be shifted a little bit. So here I am just removing I peel the paper off the back of the chipboard if I need to, but I think they might all have that already removed. I don't remember for sure. But I'm using just a little bit of liquid adhesive. This is just art glitter glue, and I'm just putting a little bit of that on the back and adhering those in place so that they don't move. Okay, so I'm just going back and adhering that die cut there on the right of the frame, and then I am going to add a couple more embellishments. I wanted to cover up that sentiment because it said something about fall leaves, I think, and I wanted to add something more that fit with the theme of the page a little bit better, so I added that pumpkin there. And then that round frame covered up most of the sentiment that was on the bigger chipboard frame, but not all of it, so I need to find something to cover that up. I tried a die cut here just a minute ago, but it was not working right, so I'll come back to that in just a minute. But before I mentioned that I wanted to make sure I got that chipboard frame straight, and here's another reason for that, is I'm just adding my journaling strips and just lining them up with the chipboard frame. So I just print my journaling on white copy paper. On this one, I did change the color of my journaling, what I was printing, to match the background. So it's kind of a dark teal color. Anyway, and then that strip that I'm adding right along the bottom is just the date. I always print the date with my journaling. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. In this case, I did. So I'm adding a couple of butterfly die cuts and just adhering them in the center so that the wings pop up off the page. And there I've got another piece of chipboard that fits on that frame much better than the die cut I had earlier. Once again, just adding a little bit of liquid adhesive to make sure that that chipboard stays in place and doesn't go anywhere. So just to finish things off, I wanted to add some of these really cute chipboard hearts. So I'm adding a couple over on the left side, and then I'm adding I'm adding 2 over on the right side and 3 over on the left side. And you'll see here in a minute, I have a little bit of I actually dropped that heart and it did not go where I wanted it to, but since it had liquid glue on it, it was gonna, anyway, it ended up working out well. It fell just right there in between those 2 butterflies, and I love how it looks. So here's a look at the finished page. This was a really fun project, a really easy one, and a absolutely gorgeous collection. So thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend with me. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And I will be back with another video soon. Thanks for watching. See you soon.